Hey guys, Dr. Kerby here at Kerby Comprehensive Therapy with another episode at a window into our office. I got Eric right here. Why don't you take a seat, Eric? This is a typical Monday when I come in, I've figured some new things out, or just through prayer and other things or research, and I want to share it. And Eric, we've been doing this since you've been here, where I give you...
Pretty much every Monday you come in with something new that you've thought about, and we sit down and talk about it before we start working on people.
Absolutely. So this one, I wanted it to be a complete surprise to Eric. So Eric does not know what I'm about to talk about. We have a blank board here. He typically has this and he'll take notes, and then we'll decide how it applies to the office and how it applies maybe to take home or whatever I may share. You're my note man.
So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go take notes.
The first thing this weekend that really hit me in the heart when I was taking time in my prayer was, what is the number one hindrance which prevents healing? The thing that I broke it down to was stress. I could relate to this. Eric could relate to this. What is stress? My definition of stress would be anything that traps you in a lower emotion and puts your body in a more, let's call it a chaotic state. When the body is in a chaotic state, it cannot heal. It creates more inflammation. The person's going to have more pain. They're going to be more frustrated. Let's call it, Eric would relate to anger. You say, the other day you asked, John, why am I dealing with anger and I'm doing all this work, and can God just take this away? Well, my answer to that, God could just take this away, but when you've been, as an example, angry for a really long time, it's become a habit. So what you need to do is become aware of where it's coming from and capture that, so it's not just an automatic thing that's running all the time. You have to become addicted to getting rid of it instead of it just running you. That is a big process. How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Very good question, Eric. So within the office, my first take home to people would be, the fastest way to do it is we have equipment in the office, and I did talk to you gently about this yesterday that you did not know, but getting the brain in what I call the theta state, or a more organized state, allows you to be more susceptible to change. What happens when someone comes in here and they're in extreme pain? Do they want to change their emotions off the bat? Probably not.
Yeah.
They're probably combative. They're probably annoyed, frustrated.
Defensive?
Yes. Why is my body not working? I don't want to feel this way. Extreme levels of frustration. When your body is in those states, you do not heal. It's gonna slow it down. It creates dysregulation. So we want our autonomic nervous system to become regulated. What is stress? The complete opposite. It creates dysregulation. Dysregulation is what creates disease. So when that's cancer, that's pain, that's inflammation. Regulation, so will create a pattern of, what's my word for that? Organization, and the body will then have the energy to heal itself. That's where you'll see miracles. You'll see someone come in here and their pain that they've had for years instantly change in a matter of 2 hours. Or we will use machines in the office, and those will put the body back into an organized state. And as Eric would say, someone could come in here on crutches and be able to walk out with 80% less pain. What do? We organize their nervous system a little bit more. Will that last forever? No. If they lever that and take it home and they can come up with something to keep that going, what is something that you could do? I'm going to give a couple practical things that you could take home or start right now. Is first, capture the emotions that are causing the chaos in your life, or what I said is causing the dysregulation of your autonomic nervous system. That is what's causing the pain, the inflammation, the problem. Once you capture it, you may have to just sit with it and keep it. Why do I keep going back to anger? So if Eric can just keep recognizing when he goes to anger, he's winning. It's when it goes into autopilot, he then can become in a state of almost, I would call it, addicted to being in anger, or addicted to being a victim of anger. A way he would do that, as soon as he's angry or before the anger comes, he finds it, he takes a moment and he breathes into it, he invites God into it, and just simply recognizing it is a win. We like to use breath work because breath work creates, the big word, organization. It down regulates the stress response so that you can get the organization. So by Eric starting this regularly at home, or you who are watching this is a process that you need to start now. Then within our office, we can help you when you hit a roadblock, or we can speed the process up to get this done faster. We have a lot of equipment that speeds this up because it is frustrating and annoying and takes a really, really, really long time in order to recognize this and create the organization so you feel like you're getting somewhere. Now, caveat. When you start working on emotions in your body from trauma and other things, you will go through a moment of what I'm going to call a dark soul. It's not going to just be roses and happiness and joy right away. In order to get rid of those emotions and extract them out of your body and create the organization so that your body can heal, I promise you, I myself have experienced this. I would say Eric's towards the middle to end of it even still experiencing this. You're gonna have dark times in a dark soul to extract out that chaos and that victimness of being addicted to the lower emotions. This, you have to be patient with yourself, and that's where you need to ask for help. That's what we specialize in here, is speeding up the process. But you must do this at home. You must put the work and the willingness to go through the pain. It will be uncomfortable. Otherwise, you're gonna always be looking for a quick fix.
So what I came up with was what prevents healing? And the number one thing you came up with was stress, right? Okay. Stress, lower emotions, and by lower emotions, higher emotions would be like love, altruism, peace, happiness, things like that. Lower emotions being sadness, anger, anxiety, like that victim mentality that you talked about, okay? So stress, when we're in lower emotions, it's kind of a chaotic state, as he described it in your mind. I've experienced that. Your body responds to the emotions that you're having. It increases inflammation. You'll find an increase in pain, becomes dysregulated, and then you can have a lot of like body dysfunctions which you don't recognize are caused by the emotions. It could be like, when I first came to John, I was focused on the dysfunctions of my body, which I have some things wrong with my body from accidents and things like that. But what I came to find out was that most of the dysfunctions in my body and the pain and the dysregulation was caused by my emotional state. Okay. And that's a lot of times what happens here is that people come in complaining about pain or shoulder or something like that. And when we dive down deep into it, yes, there's some physical things that can contribute to those, but what the bigger factor is their emotional state, okay? So then you described like a method for how to deal with this at home. Of course, here in the office, we have, like John said, machines that help speed up this process. But this is something that you have to do at home all the time too. Like if you come in and we help you, you're not just fixed, but we feel like we give you an advantage to be able to do this stuff at home. How do you do this at home? Is the first thing is really sit with yourself and identify the emotions that dominate search yourself for those dark emotions. Which ones do you find yourself in? Anger, sadness, depression, anxiety. And then, you got something?
Yeah, my summary would be an added piece is sitting with yourself was the key word you said. Not sitting on your phone scrolling, not watching TV, not busying yourself. Those are all the things that reinforce that.
Yeah.
Phone scrolling and busying yourself. Oh, I gotta clean the house. I gotta go this, I gotta go this. No, sitting with your emotions. It's pretty simple, people. Like, it's not that complex. Get your phone out, sit with it. It's uncomfortable to sit with yourself.
That's one of those, that's a telltale sign of having emotions that you can't really handle or don't like. They're running in your subconscious. So sit with yourself, figure out which emotions are coming up. Your job after that is to recognize when they come up during the day. Do people always piss you off? Yes. Okay. Is that just people or is that something inside of you? Okay. Do people make you nervous? Do you get anxiety all the time from uncomfortable or new situations? Some of that can be normal, but also if it's coming up all the time, it's probably something that is running in the background of your subconscious anyways. And so recognizing when those come up is like the first step. And give yourself a pat on the back every time that you recognize, oh my gosh, I walked into Starbucks today and I'm standing in line and I don't like all of the people, I feel like people are looking at me, or if someone interacts with me, I might say the wrong thing. So I'm going to flip out my phone and I'm going to start scrolling because that's what I do. I don't want to have those uncomfortable interactions. So when you start recognizing that and you say, oh, I was just going to grab my phone and start looking around. Why is that? I think I'm uncomfortable right now. Boom, give yourself a pat on the back. That is a huge step to getting better.
Food is another huge one. Alcohol, you'll grab, I'm not hungry, why do I keep grabbing towards a snack? There's an emotion behind that. So this gives you a lot to chew on. Another one which we'll do in another video for breathwork, we'll show you some tools of many practical things you can take home. So once you identify these emotions, just practice identifying the why. Why did I grab this food? Why am I scrolling? Why? You passed. We'll give you other tools to add in. And above all, you got to add God to this. You got to figure out to make that the center, because we want to serve others. That is the biggest part in life, is getting off of our own crap so we can give back and love on others.